For update on sports stories across the globe, Ebi Nyomo joins us. Good morning, Ebi.
Well, good morning, Dr. Abati, and good morning, Vimba. And nice to see two of you today. I see that Rufa is absent. And without too much delay, we begin with cricket once more, where Nigeria today, later today, will be facing off against a Kenyan side who started their campaign with 2 wins against Sierra Leone and Uganda, while Nigeria have different turn of fortunes already established that they lost 2 of their first games. And now they are in a make-or-break situation as they have to win all their next games to ensure a qualification. It's just one team that qualifies for the Under-19 Cricket World Cup. What's important to note is that this same Nigerian side that qualified for the last edition have been unable to rediscover that form they had in the last edition. And now it's about permutations, hopes and prayers that they qualify. Hopefully, we can see that happen today in the right step by defeating Kenya. But it's going to be a tall order for a Kenyan side who are coming and brimming with confidence. And we'll move away from cricket now to football. And we'll have an interesting story there where veteran defender, that's Nicholas Pius, who is a Nantes defender, Ligon club, has said that the club has a major over-reliance on Nigeria Super Eagles forward, that's Moses Simon. He says that the team always hopes and prays that he succeeds with his crosses and all. Moses Simon this season has 48% of the 31 goals caused by Nantes this season, having 8 assists and 7 goals. And he's just below 3 of the players with the most assists. And his words, he says, we give the ball to Moses Simon and hope that he delivers and succeeds. His efforts this season have ensured that Nantes are 13th on the Ligue 1 table and they are 7 points clear of the relegation zone. Hopefully it remains like that because last season Nantes still struggles with relegation and they hope that this season or next season they go into the transfer market and buy more players to assist Moses Simon. And away from that, the Premier League matches were played yesterday and we saw 3 games being played. Nottingham Forest had a victory against a Manchester United side. They completed a double against United, courtesy of a 1-0 victory against Elanga. Well, these goals saw Elanga score after 16 seconds between Bruno Fernandes' corner kick. He took the ball from his own half and ran all the way to get that goal. United are 13th on the table, and we still have Nottingham Forest with an impressive season so far. They are still third on the table with 8 Premier League games to be played, and they are in the semi-finals of the FA Cup. Kudos to Nuno Espirito Santo for what he is doing with this Nottingham Forest team. And for Arsenal, they recorded a 2-1 victory against Fulham, inflicting their second victory in just a few days after losing out in the quarterfinals of the FA Cup. It was Bukayo Saka who came in after 3 months of being absent to get a goal just 7 minutes within play on the pitch. And obviously, the Arsenal fans were elated with that goal. But despite the victory of Arsenal, they will be praying and sweating over the fitness of Gabriel Mangalas, who most likely has a hamstring injury. And it is hoped that maybe he returns before the season ends, but Arsenal have some crucial games, especially against Real Madrid. And his absence will definitely tell on them. And look at matches to be played today. We have 6 matches to be played in the Premier League today. Bournemouth take on Ipswich Town. Brighton will host Aston Villa. There's Manchester City against Leicester City. Newcastle take on Brentford. Southampton take on Crystal Palace. And Liverpool will be home to Everton. That's a Merseyside derby. And we also have more cup games being played. We saw Real Madrid reach the finals of the Copa del Rey after a very interesting 8-goal thriller that saw goals from Endrick, Jude Bellingham, Tchouaméni, and Rudiger, who got the goal to ensure that they progressed to the finals of the Copa del Rey. It was 5-4 on aggregate, but 4-4 on the ninth. So that tried their best, but the residents of Real Madrid stood heads and shoulders above them. And later tonight, we'll see the second semi-finalist as Atletico Madrid take on Barcelona in a game that saw the first leg end 4-4. Both teams will be hoping to continue their run in the Copa del Rey. We'll see what happens later tonight. And we'll have the DFB Cup in Germany. Well, Leverkusen, a club of Victor Boniface and Nathan Tella, were stunned by third division side Arminia Bielefeld. they went up 1-0 with Jonathan Tah, but could not hold it as Amina Belfield scored 2 goals in the first half. And they just totally capitulated. Amina Belfield, a third division side, the funny thing is that should they win the finals, which could be between Leipzig or Stuttgart, they could get automatic qualification into next season's Europa League. It's going to be a big fairy tale story for them should that happen. And for PSG, they had a comeback victory against Dukorok, a second division side. It was Dembele who led the attack, and he scored made it 2-1, scored the third goal, and it was Doué who scored the fourth goal to make it 4-2 for them. Impressive victory for them. They're finalists in the French Cup. And finally, for me, we have Wilder eyes fights with Joshua. Now, Wilder and Joshua's fight has been something coming up for a very long time. Both have fallen from the positions they used to be as former heavyweight champions, but this fight could actually still be something to watch out for. He makes his return on June 27th against a much less unknown opponent, that is Tyrell Anthony. He's not the player he used to be, same as Joshua, but we'll see what happens should they eventually face off next year. Well, that's all for me on the World of Sports today.
Thank you so much for that, Ebi. On the cricket tip, I know we also discussed the cricket yesterday, but what we didn't mention is the under-19 women's team. Remember, they had a fantastic outing at the Women's World Cup, and they placed top 6 team at that competition. So it'll be interesting to see whether the men's team, the under-19 male team, will also be able to progress and see how they will perform. Of course, we've already seen Uganda team, Sierra Leone and Tanzania as well, so far faring very well at the tournament, the African World Cup qualifiers that are still ongoing here in Lagos. So we continue to keep eyes on them and wonder whether it will be one of those cases like we normally see where the women's team outdoes the men's team. But hopefully they'll be flag bearers and they will carry us to the World Cup. Now to boxing. Deontay Wilder at 39. I mean, I can't imagine making a comeback to any sport at this age. As far as sporting is concerned, 39 is I believe what they would call geriatric, especially in boxing. Now, of course, he took some time out because he had not because he had an injury, but they say that the time he started losing correlates sharply with the time he started having a shoulder injury. So he says that whenever he used to throw a punch, and you know he was well known for that right hand punch, that it would just cause him immense pain. So good to see him make a return. I believe he has a five-fight plan for 2025 before, of course, we know whether anything will happen with Anthony Joshua. It's already said if a fight will take place, it wouldn't be this year. So well, looking forward to seeing that, and also looking forward to seeing more from Anthony Joshua as they all reach the tail end of their careers.
Okay, yesterday I mentioned the point that Eric Allen is injured, ankle injury, and he's been confirmed. You know, after he saw the specialist yesterday, that he's going to be out of action for the next 7 weeks. Well, between 5 to 7 weeks. And that could have implications. He is the main magician in his team. But that's what has happened. And then Saka Bukayo came back after 101 days out of action. He's been out of action since December because of hamstring injury. And yesterday against Fulham, he was able to score within 7 minutes of having been brought in. At the 73rd minute, he scored the winning goal against Fulham. But the major problem that Mikel Arteta has is simply that, look, most of his players are injured. Gabriel, Ricardo, Ben White, you know, so they have injury issues. They also have injury issues in Man City. And then today, the Polytechnic Games is going to start up till Saturday, April 12. And it's the Federal Polytechnic Ofa that is hosting the 22nd edition of Nipoga Games in Nigeria, what is called Ijakadi 2025. And we're hoping, of course, that you know, this will be well organized, well managed, and it should throw up some talents, you know, at that particular level. Okay, you are not hearing us? Well, that must be a connection problem from your end in the Abuja studio. But if you can't hear us in the studio, well, let's just thank you very much, you know, for joining us again as usual on the morning show.